For the next speaker, I asked actually someone who's not a member from the space. Jonathan is from OpenStreetmap Belgium, and he actually quite quickly said yes. I'd like to, and he asked, "What topic would you want?" I had like lots of choice, so I gave him carte blanche, I think, more or less. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for the invite.
And we're curious.
So I'm Jonathan Bollien. I'm a board member of both Open Knowledge Belgium and OpenStreetmap Belgium, and I'm a web developer. Thanks Jeroen for the invite. Usually when people invite us, we do say yes. I live in Brussels, so that's really convenient. When we meet new partners or new people, it's always hard to see what should we talk about, because OpenStreetmap can be quite large. So I think an introduction to OpenStreetmap, I think, is the best way to start, I guess. And I don't know if people already know OpenStreetmap in the audience a bit. Yes, maybe people are contributors already. Yeah. Oh, nice. Well, so I'll start with what is OpenStreetmap, and basically why I think people should switch to OpenStreetmap. I hope I'll convince you at the end of the of the talk. Let's see about that. First, let's start with the beginning. What is OpenStreetmap? The official definition is a free editable map of the whole world that is being built by volunteers, largely from scratch, and released with an open content license. So that's the official blah blah. But what it is really, is it a map, a database, a website, tools, or many other things? First of all, there is the OpenStreetmap.org website, which is obviously the main point of entry to OpenStreetmap. And on that website, you see a map. That's fine. But behind that map, there is all the data. On the main website, you can display the database that is used to build the map. So that's all the blue things you see on top of the map. It's a map of the surroundings, obviously. I guess I don't think. Well, the cursor. Well, we are somewhere around here, I guess. Since it's a database, we can build many maps with the same data. So that's the official style, the official way of displaying the OpenStreetmap database. But there are many others, so that's exactly the same map with exactly the same database based on OpenStreetmap, but dedicated to cycling. So I don't know the legend by heart, but it's basically probably a cycle path on the Rue de la Petite Île, and that part is probably friendly for bikes, the blue one. So it's really the same map, but focused on cycling. We have the exact same map, but focused on public transport. So there is the bus 78 in front of the building, and there is a train probably in orange. So the red is the bus, and the orange is the train, with the focus on the stops. So again, same database, other way to style it, to display the information depending on the focus. That's still another style from another company, because it's open content, so anyone can do whatever they want with it, or almost. That's a private company that's decided to serve a way to style maps based on OpenStreetmap. So there is a black and white layout. There is a watercolor layout. So people can be quite creative with the database and how to style it. Obviously, some people decided to do 3D with OpenStreetmap, so that's totally possible. So it's the exact same region. So we are somewhere in that building, I think. If you want 3D, if you like 3D, you can go 3D. That's perfectly fine. So yeah, so here it's here around. So yeah, not a lot of 3D information except the color of the wall of that building in the right. But yeah, in New York they decided to be a bit more crazy. So it's still only OpenStreetMap database, but with height and number of floors, and then the way the walls are. Is it glass? Is it brick? Is it whatever material? And then some people pushed it a bit further with the Cathedral Notre Dame in Paris, where, well, let's say it's almost a perfect 3D model of the cathedral. I guess I don't know if it was updated since the incident, but yeah, the screenshot was before this. I should check if they updated the model. So yeah, you can be quite creative with OpenStreetMap, and see, as you can see, the water is rendered with some reflection. The trees, the areas defined as with trees. Well, they decided to put little trees on it. So yeah, basically the data are there. Style it however you want to make something fun. And then on top of the same database, there are a lot of tools for a lot of usage. So you obviously have the Google Map replacement. Where am I? Please download the map of my country. Guide me from here to there. And then some other tools to contribute to OpenStreetMap. So the one on the right, I'll come to that tool later. But it's basically a tool, a simplified tool to contribute to OpenStreetMap. Yeah, in the next slides I'll talk about a lot of, I'll use Google Map as example, but it obviously also applies to any proprietary map solution. So here being Maps, TomTom, probably many more, but Google Maps being the most common one. I'll focus on that one. So why we think people should switch from Google or whatever to OpenStreetMap. Well, I think there are many reasons, and then you can pick the one you feel the more close to. If you use Google Map, obviously Google is in charge, so you have absolutely no control about the map itself, or almost. But also, the app is still free to use, but now to include a little Google Map in your website, you need to pay, which it was free until 2017 or 18, I think, quite free under a certain limit of map usage. But since 2017, the fees increased and will probably keep increasing because, it's a private company that basically decides what they want, whatever they want with their product. And if you're using it and want to stick with it, you have to comply to what they decide. That was an example back then when Google Maps decided completely free to almost free, but you had to give your credit card information to be able to display the map. And back then Charles Michel was still Prime Minister, and on the official website of Charles Michel, you had that nice little message saying, hey, we are Google, and now you didn't give your credit card number, so the map is hidden, and there is a little pop-up, and so from one day to the other, all the websites where people didn't enter the credit card number were stuck with that ugly message. A bit sad. So that's the money side of the money side of the why we think people should switch. But also the data side. Basically, Google decide what they highlight and what they display on the map. I think I have an example. So in the center of Brussels, I guess Pizza Hut. We don't see really it well, but here the little red dot is a Pizza Hut, and I guess Pizza Hut has a contract with Google and paying Google to display or highlight Pizza Hut. yeah, which is nice if you like Pizza Hut, but if you're the little Italian restaurant next to that Pizza Hut, well, it's a bit unfortunate that you're, people.
If your stomach actually really likes pizza.
Yeah, also a good point. And yeah, it goes for, well, here Pizza Hut is really highlighted, but it goes for any other point you see on the map. Yeah, I guess we see other shops. Yeah, you have the Ton Hotel in Rogier. Yeah, why those are highlighted and not the others? Well, that's Google deciding, and probably people paying Google to highlight those shops or point of interest. And well, if it's a Pizza Hut or shop, it's not too bad, let's say. But they also control everything, so it could be a border between two countries, which a conflicting border, let's say. It could be a whole neighborhood that they don't want to display for whatever reason. So yeah, control of the data is also not that big of a deal until you scratch a bit, and then you discover that, well, it is a big of it could be a big of a deal. And yeah, well, they can also, I already mentioned it, but they can also change the term of use basically anytime they want. So I gave the credit card example, but yeah, if they just want you to pay or change any term of use when they want, they will send you a little email and they say, well, if you don't click the accept button, well, you're fucked basically, which too bad. So yeah, that's a few points I think people should at least think about. And when Google decided to require the credit card information, a lot of websites decided to make the switch to OpenStreetmap. So I don't remember exactly if it was in 2017 or 2018, but those years there are quite a huge switch from Google's to OpenStreetmap again, because OpenStreetmap is completely free to use, and well, you can decide how to extract the data you need and how to style it depending on your needs. So yeah, it's pretty convenient and it's free. So that's why we think people should switch from Google to something else. But why OpenStreetmap and not something else? So again, well, OpenStreetmap is a free editable map of the whole world. That's convenient, but that's offered by almost everyone except the free part, probably. The editable part, I think Google Maps had an option to edit the map at some point. Then it was removed, and then I think it's back. Not exactly sure. But yeah, OpenStreetmap, you can just go to the website, add a little point, save or upload, and leave, and it's publicly available for anyone in the world. So could not be more easy than that. And also the OpenStreetmap license allows free access, completely free access to the map itself, but also the database behind the map. So if you need just to display a map, that's fine. Use the tiles that someone hosts. But yeah, if you want to do some research in Bangladesh, you just download all the data from Bangladesh, or all the roads from Bangladesh, all the buildings from Bangladesh, all the fields from Bangladesh, whatever your interest is. If you want to, I don't know, well, all the data are there. You can just download whatever data you need in anywhere in the world. So you can download it from Belgium, but if you want your website or your app to work for Belgium and Benelux, well, you just download Benelux, and then for Europe and the world, it's just a matter of the size of the database behind your app or behind your website. But yeah, all the data for the whole world are publicly available with open content license. Yeah, so you have access to the data. That's the the main part of why we think you should switch to OpenStreetmap. So yeah, that's again the map and the data behind the map. And again, you can download everything or just download the roads, only download the buildings. You just download what you need depending on your need. And then with those data, people do fun maps. So that's a few examples of the kind of map you can render based on. I already showed a few more before in 2D and 3D. But if you're into heavy metal, well, maybe you like a heavy metal map, and black and white, the more watercolor one, the more artistic one. And I think all the countries here are in English, in this one. But also all the countries' name and a lot of information are available in as many languages as possible. So if you want a map in French, you just take all the name in French. If you want a map in Dutch, you take all the names in Dutch and so on. So, Russian, Japanese, Chinese, Arabic. I see here. I don't know if you can maybe not spot it, but the map here, the north of Africa is written in Arabic. So the database part is obviously the main one, but behind the database and behind the map, there are a lot of people, including myself and including you. So that's really nice. And all the some of the proprietary tools have a tool to edit the maps, but it has to go through a validation process, and then you ask to update your restaurant information in Google, let's say, and then you refill a form, and then it goes to a team in somewhere in Google, and then they validate or not, and then it takes let's say a few months before you see your edit. But as I said, in OpenStreetmap, you click edit button, you make the update, upload, and it's publicly updated for the whole world immediately. There is no validation process. So obviously quicker than any other tool I know or any other map I know. And in Belgium we are quite lucky because the OpenStreetmap community is really big, and we live everyone is in a different place, so we usually keep track of what's happening in our garden or more. So if someone, because there is no validation, so if someone decides to delete all Brussels, well, they just select Brussels, everything, delete, upload, and Brussels is gone. Sometimes it happens, but there's quite a lot of people tracking what's happening almost live, and we have a lot of revert tools to avoid those kind of misbehaving. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes in the middle of the ocean, someone draws a little island with a fun shape. So it's not everything is not bad, but still that island in the shape of a turtle, let's say, is not there. So we do remove those cute little islands as well. As I said, the most important part as well is that in the world, in most countries of the world, there are people from that country, so they obviously know more about what a road is, because obviously what we call a road in Belgium is probably not the same as in middle of the jungle. Here a road is usually clean surface with lights and stuff like that. In the middle of the jungle, probably not. So local knowledge is obviously important, and I think we do cover most of the countries in the world now, so that's pretty nice. And another side of the community in OpenStreetmap is the humanitarian part. So there is the HOT team, the humanitarian OpenStreetmap team, that are really dedicated to help Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, Red Cross, and many other humanitarian associations that have a mission, let's say, again, in the middle of the jungle. There probably no map existing of that area, and they need a map to know where people are living, to, let's say, go give them a vaccine. That would be quite. But yeah, random example, obviously. And then sometimes, there are some aerial imagery available, but if it's in the middle of a jungle, obviously the trees covers most of it, so it's not really useful. There are sometimes maps, but it's usually quite expensive. So since a few years, all those associations decided to turn to OpenStreetmap, and if they know that they have to a mission somewhere in the world where the data is not available already in OpenStreetmap, they organize what we call a mapathon, and with many tools, could be aerial imagery, could be a drone, could be infrared imagery, could be people on the ground. We do map the area, so they have let's say the Red Cross has for free the map of the region and know that there is a river there that we can cross here and there, but not here. And so it helps. It also helps the people on the ground from those associations and from anywhere. So that's also quite a big part of the community inside OpenStreetmap. That's a good example. So on the left it's OpenStreetmap, on the right is Google Map, somewhere around Kathmandu, if I remember correctly. So I think we can easily tell that one map is usable on the ground, the other one, probably not, because in OpenStreetmap you have the main road, you have the buildings, the little road, the paths, the forest, and so on. And on Google Maps, I guess you have only the main road. And of course, Google Maps being a private company, they will focus on where the money is. Probably in the middle of nowhere, near Kathmandu, they won't send people to map those areas, or at least not until everything else is mapped. But there is probably some OpenStreetmap contributors living in that region, and they just decided to add those data in OpenStreetmap. So we have the data. We have more data there than Google Maps. Now is okay. Let's say I convince you to switch, but how to switch? And again, it can be easy to quite complicated depending on your needs and on the topic you want to make the switch. So I said that OpenStreetmap is absolutely completely free to use. The only thing we require is somewhere in your website, in your app, you just mention that the data comes from OpenStreetmap and was made by OpenStreetmap contributors. The link is sending to the full copyright page with instructions or more information about how to attribute correctly OpenStreetmap. But that's basically the only requirement for you to use OpenStreetmap data. If let's say you want just a map of the world, and you go usually on maps.google.com, now you just have to go on openstreetmap.org and you will have mostly the same. You have obviously the search engine, so here I type HSBXL for some reason, and I think Jürgen added the point yesterday or the day before. So now it's in OpenStreetmap database. So if you search for the hacker space here, it's in the database. So it will show the information, the address, and I think Jürgen put the point here somewhere. The search engine is there. In OpenStreetmap we call it Nominatim. That's the name of the service. That's an easy way. Now if you want a route, you're lucky because we do have that too. Here I put coordinates, but between here and the Grand Place in Brussels city center, but it obviously works between any 2 points in the world. By default on the website, I think you can use a car, bicycle, and foot. but some of those services also offer more. I think wheelchair is one option. So depending on your needs, you can go a bit further. So here it was from here to Grand Place by bicycle, with the little instruction, the route on the map. That's pretty common, and the same route by foot using another algorithm. But I guess the result is quite expected. Those are two. One API is Grasshopper and one is OSRM, but there are many other routing engines based on OpenStreetmap. If you're looking the Street View side of Google Maps, let's say, we do have that too. Even though the coverage is not as good as the coverage in Google Street View. One of those is Mapillary. The other one is OpenStreetCam, even though I think they changed name recently. But I guess the website still redirects to the correct one. The website shows where pictures were taken, so that's all the green lines. And then if you click on it, well, it's basically like Google Street View. You do see the picture. Most of the pictures are not 360 pictures, so it's just a series of pictures, one after another. But some people decided to do what the Google Street Card does. So sometimes you get lucky and you have 360 imagery everywhere. So there is that side too, even though it's a bit less developed than Google Street View. Well, I already mentioned the 3D, but we do have that part as well. So that's more the website part. But now, let's say you want to have something on your phone to guide you when you're in your car or on foot, on your bicycle, whatever. I think the two main ones for that usage are on Android OSM and on iOS and Android Maps.me. So it gives you basically all the same features that the Google Maps app gives you. So you can download a region, a city, a country, a continent on your phone. Then you can see where you are, obviously, a route between points. Basically all the features you expect those apps to do are there. I use Osmans on my phone. I think people that are less tech savvy prefer Maps.me because the interface is a bit more user friendly. But I suggest try both and then pick the one that you prefer. The features are basically the same in both apps. And I think on iOS now there is something called OSM Go, something like that. But I don't have an iPhone or something, so never tried it. But it seems to be the new kid in the block, in the block. So maybe worth trying it as well. Those those two apps are free. Then if you want to contribute, you can have a paid version. But you can use it for free. It has a map, obviously. You can have offline. We can download the data to have to make it work offline. It has navigation. It has public transport. It has a search engine if you're looking for a restaurant or something. So all the features you would expect those apps to have, it's there. And again, those two apps are open source. So if the feature is not there, just go on GitHub, create an issue, ask for for the feature, or just add the feature yourself. It's even better. Now if you want to download the data, whatever you want to do with it, research, have fun. There is a German company that basically splits the whole world by region and then country, and then for the really big countries, smaller regions. And it's updated every day. So if you want a daily update of all the data in Brussels, there is just one link to download, one click to make, and every morning you will have the data updated in the region you selected, or the whole world if you want to, all the data in the whole world, and then you can play with it as you want in any GIS tool you want. If you just want to share a map, there is on the main website there is a little share button where you just can have a link that you can share, so the people will see basically the map that's displayed there. So the website with a little marker on where to go. You can export just the image if you want just the image. Sharing an image, location, or an interactive map. You can also have a little iframe that you can put on your website if you want to display a little map of where your restaurant or where the hackerspace is. That's on our OpenStreetmap Belgium website. I have a list of the next event. So today is obviously one with a little map with some markers. So that's basically easy usage of OpenStreetmap. If you want to go a bit further, well, there are two main open source libraries for mapping, let's say, or displaying a map on a website. There was one that's more simple, that's called Leaflet, and then there is OpenLayers that's a bit more powerful, but obviously since it's a bit more powerful, it's a bit more complicated to dig in. And then there is mapbox, and already made that, well, part of that presentation a few years ago. And back then I said that basically mapbox offer what the Google Maps API offers and Google Map Toolkits offer. So if you want a little input to search for an address and have a location, if you want to have a route between 2 points, if you want to have a little map with zoom in, zoom out, and stuff like that, Mapbox give all that, mostly for free. Again, it's private company, so my complaints about private companies, like the pricing and stuff like that, will also apply to Mapbox. But I think in 2019 to 2020 they released a new version of their JavaScript library, and they decided to close the source of it. So obviously since then I make a bit less of publicity for Mapbox, but luckily some people from the open source community decided to fork the Mapbox libraries, both for the JavaScript library and the SDK for Android and iOS, and we'll keep those forks open source, so it's now called MapLibre. So I would suggest to have a look at MapLibre instead of having a look at Mapbox for that obvious reason. Well, as I said, quite easy to update. I guess people that already contributed, I hope, feel it easy to contribute. So you basically click on the edit button, and then you go in edit mode. Here I took the little information about the hackerspace. So you have the name in English, French, and Dutch. You have the address. You can have the opening hours. You can obviously move the point to place it correctly. Draw a line if it's a road, draw a polygon if it's a building, and then fill all the information you need. That's completely online on the OpenStreetmap.org website.
I suggest to have a look at the YouTube videos for editing complex buildings.
It can
be
indeed. But basically just adding a point and then name and address, that's quite easy. But if you want to do something a bit more complicated, there is the wiki that's where everything is documented, or I hope it is. And then you can find videos on how to to edit something in the topic you want to edit. So we have the online tool, and then we have a desktop tool. It's called JOSM, and yeah, if it's the first time you contribute to OpenStreetMap, don't go there yet. First use the online editor, but at some point the features of the online editor are great but limited at some point. So if you reach that limit, well, I suggest you have a look at JOSM. It's also an open source tool, and that's really the tool to contribute to OSM. Yeah. Usually, if it's something really easy, just change an address or something, or move a point, or add information. I go to the website because yeah, in 2 clicks it's done. If I need to map something a bit more complicated, let's say all the gardens in Brussels, yeah, then I open JOSM just because yeah, it's more powerful, and it's you download all the data, you can then make your edit, and then once you're ready, you can upload everything. And yeah, I mentioned well, I don't think I mentioned the name, but that's the third app I mentioned earlier. Yeah, the goal of that app is to make the contribution more fun, let's say. So instead of having to click somewhere and then add the information, it just looks up where you are, and then it just asks you questions, and you just have to basically answer the questions, and you directly contribute to OSM. So if the app detects that the house number of a building is missing next to where you are, it will just ask you, well, what's the house number of that building? You enter the house number, click save, and well, that's it. It's updated in the OpenStreetmap database. If it sees that pitch, well, the sport is not already tagged in OpenStreetmap, it will ask you what kind of sport can you play on that field. Again, same for opening hours. Yeah, on the main website, the tool to update, well, there is the whole structure of entering opening hours, which can be quite overwhelming. I think you're gonna other questions about how to add the opening hour here of the hackerspace, and indeed it's separated by dashes and comma, and then a lot of things. And here, Street Complete try to make it a bit more user friendly. And again, it's really made on questions. So it sees that data is missing somewhere, and then it just asks you almost random questions about the information that are missing. So yeah, I think everything that's possible with Google Map is possible with OpenStreetMap, and usually almost as easy to use and to set up. Really depending on your needs, it can go from really easy to pretty hard. But again, the community is also there to help you, so always feel free to reach out if you need to. And then, well, OpenStreetMap is fully open data, and most of the tools are open source. So if you want to contribute on the data side, you can do that easily. And if you want to contribute on the development side, well, you're more than welcome to do so as well. So, well, I'm already convinced, obviously. But I hope more people are getting day by day more convinced as well. Well, I don't know how many time I have left.
15 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So if you have any questions, I'll demonstrate the website and maybe how to edit, something like that. But if anyone has some questions,
You give some good use cases in terms of this, but do you have any official guidance for how we could complain if a service isn't using OpenStreetmap? Like, for instance, the STIB site for doing routes. That seems very frustrating.
Well, one big, at least Belgian companies like that, you still use non-OpenStreetMap maps, let's say. We try to contact them saying, hey, do you know there is that OpenStreetMap thing? And sometimes it works. I think bpost for most of the services switched to OpenStreetMap. Sometimes, it just doesn't work, whatever the reason. But I think, yes, in some apps or some website or some part of the website still uses OpenStreetMap, but not everywhere. Again, I guess different development teams or something like that. But if you see something like that, well, you can obviously contact them yourself, or you can just contact us saying, well, I noticed that website is using a non-OpenStreetMap. Maybe it's worth contacting them. We also have people that not really report, but saying just, hey, we noticed that that website is using your OpenStreetMap, but we don't see anywhere the attribution saying the map is from OpenStreetMap. So for that kind of thing, we also try to send a nice little email saying, oh, we are so happy you're using OpenStreetMap, because we are. Do you know that, well, we have a copyright page saying that you must attribute the map correctly. And usually they do comply relatively fast to our request and just add the. I guess if you don't want to contact them themselves, you can just reach us, and we try to contact them to see if we can help them make the switch, because that's also something we do. But another question.
If I understand correctly, if you're using OpenStreetMap on your website, you need to host the data on your website.
Not necessarily. You can do it if you want to do it, but I can.
Well, the actual question is, if you do so, what's the mechanism for keeping it in sync?
I'll go on OpenStreetmap.org. So basically, the image, the tiles that are making the map. There are a lot of services that offers for free the usage of those tiles. The official ones are not supposed to be used in the production website, because those servers paid basically by volunteers, so the load can be quite high. But if it's here for the hackerspace, feel free to use the official tiles. But there are a whole list of providers that provides basically the map for you, so you don't have to worry about it. And depending on the service, it's updated live. Like this, if I add something, click refresh, wait 2 minutes, it will appear on the map. Some are updated daily, weekly. It depends a bit on the on the provider. So I think that's, if you don't want to worry about the data, I think I would say that's the way to go. Just use a provider, because, well, they take care of that for you.
And then you pay the provider a fee.
So some are free, some are paying. You need to pay for. It really depends. Also, and for Belgium, OpenStreetMap Belgium has provides tiles for whole Belgium for free in English, French, and Dutch. So if it's here for the hackerspace, just use our tile server. It's basically tile.osm.be.
I'm actually thinking of my work where we give quite a lot of money to Google for their map.
So that's the OpenStreetMap Belgium tile server. So I'm updating it manually. So I'll try to do it twice a year, because it's quite a lot of work. But it's basically all the name in bilingual, because Belgium, and then
German.
Not German. We should. We should. It was also available in German at some point, but then the usage was really low. So.
What about Esperanto?
That's also an option. That's also an option. Less, yes. But as I said, so most of the names of the cities and countries are available in most languages, let's say. So I'm pretty sure Esperanto is tagged quite a lot. So you could do a map of the world in Esperanto. That's completely possible. But I guess don't bother with keeping the data updated yourself. Just use a provider that does it for you. But if you want to do it, it's possible. You can so as I said on the GeoFabric, the German company, you can download daily updates, and then you just have to update your data with that.
You can script that.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And then you can go directly, if you want minutely updates, you can go directly on OpenStreetMap. That's the official OpenStreetMap stack, where it's, yeah, it's an whole different stack, but you have, yeah, if you want a really live map that's always up to date.
And it sends you diffs, or?
Sorry?
It sends you diffs
Yeah,
every
yeah.
minute and stuff?
Yeah. I'm not playing with that. I tried, and that's the part where it's easy to switch to quite complicated. But yeah, I said just use a provider. If you just need a map, just use a provider that fits your need. And yeah, most providers will be free. And then if you really need something, yeah, professional, let's say, where with this SLA and stuff like that, then you will have to pay something. But yeah, for now, all the main provider, the fees are still really lower than what Google or Bing or whatever offers. Something else?
Maybe a little bit more out there, but OpenStreetMap collects all kinds of data about the map, including, like you said, opening hours, which can be a bit bigger. Those are things that are a little bit dynamic. Those things can change, need to be updated regularly. How about live traffic data? Is that in scope of the project, or are you kind of looking to third parties to implement that?
Yeah, so it's definitely not in the scope of OpenStreetMap. So the idea is really just to map what's on the ground. So it goes from the building to some people are mapping benches and waste bins and the holes for the sewer and stuff like that. So it can go quite deep, but only what's on the ground. So nothing live. But for we are indeed some people. I forgot the name of the project, but there are some open data live traffic projects. I can look for the name after, because that's definitely something that's useful for a lot of usage. So it's not in the scope of OpenStreetMap itself, but there are obviously links between that project and OpenStreetMap.
What I sometimes use in the other ecosystem is the product reviews. I mean, what's a good friture in Brussels? This kind of quotations.
Yep.
This is also something that exists in the OpenStreetMap system.
Again, it's not really in the scope of OpenStreetMap, but I think in the Maps.me app they built a review system on top of OpenStreetMap. So all the data about the friture comes from OpenStreetMap, and then on top of it they connected their own review system. It exists in Maps.me, it exists in other websites, but again it's not in the scope of OpenStreetMap itself. I can just show live about the editing of the map, let's say. If we go in the canal, so I click on the edit button. You need to be logged in to be able to edit, but you can, there is no link we do not store any private information, it's just basically a username. So and then let's say you want there is a buoy somewhere in the canal. I just click point. I click where the buoy is. I have no idea how to write buoy in English. Boo with a O.
Does it mean a boy?
A boy?
No, buoy.
The thing in the water.
The thing that floats.
Yeah.
I think it's pronounced a boy.
A boy, yeah.
B-O-U-Y.
K-U.
Buoy. It's pronounced buoy in English.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, I don't found it, so I'll put.
I mean, give me that boy!
There's a boy floating in the water.
Yes.
Well, I'll put a bakery because
So if there's a new building in my street, what would be the best thing to use?
that's a good question. Well,
Destroy the building, it's less hassle.
Yeah. Just recently built, I don't think the promoter will research, but
and where do you live? So we can. Well,
not far away.
well, let's say the.
Where is the building?
Where's the building? Can give Wiggleries.
So well, I'll take that as an example. So yeah, something we're also really lucky in Belgium that is we have really good aerial imagery, which is not the case in plenty of other countries.
Sometimes I go to my house called Agis,
Yeah.
and then you can match.
So basically, Belgium being Belgium, Wallonia has its own aerial imagery, Flanders has its own aerial imagery, and then Brussels has its own aerial imagery. And obviously the plane, when they do Flanders, do not go around Brussels. So Brussels is both in Flanders aerial imagery and Brussels aerial imagery. But the quality, the precision of the Brussels imagery is way better than the Flanders one. So that's Flanders. As you can see, it's quite pixelated if I zoom in. And if I switch to Brussels aerial imagery, well, it's way more precise, accurate. So yeah, if you map in Brussels, I would definitely invite you to go to the CIRB, CIBG aerial imagery, which is the official aerial imagery of the Brussels region. But indeed, sometimes, well, in Brussels, it's quite complete. It's not complete yet, but obviously, we cannot keep everything up to date always. So there are probably still buildings that are not there anymore.
The street next to me.
Yeah. So if it's that, you can just either you remove the building and then retrace the new building if the shape.
It was empty space and now it's there.
Okay. Well, then you just go in edit mode, take the Brussels imagery, Brussels aerial imagery. It's always a year late, so current aerial imagery is 2020, so maybe the building is not there yet. And then you just draw the building. If it's just a building, you can just
it's complicated. It's one big building with street numbers, so you have to know where you do.
So either you can split it, or you just draw the whole building and then you put a point with the address of the correct building. Both are. Well, I have a really good example right here.
Do you have historical data?
Yeah. So every update is stored.
The oldie time.
Well, again, not completely in the scope of OpenStreetmap, but there is Open Historical Map, I think. Historical Map. I hope it's that project.
I used something like that relatively recently. Here we go. So here apparently I'm in 1900.
Rue de Flandre.
Rue de Flandre. I have no idea if we have something like that. No, I don't have it somewhere in France, so that's not it.
Yeah, it's always coming up with the French Parisian streets in Belgium.
Yeah, that's the geocoding thing can be improved, let's say. So that's really the idea of OpenStreetmap, but with historical data. So I don't know how it starts, but basically to each data you add the timestamp, and then you can see, I think people mapped the evolution of some wars, and then you can see the front moving across the map. So if it's your thing, have a look at Open Historical Map. It's there. I've not really used it. I just had a look here and there for fun. But yeah, some people really, are involved in or like historical data. So it's if you're lucky, it's already there. But yeah, I have no idea what the coverage is. So yeah, you will have to have a look. Yeah, well, it's 3 p.m. So I guess if no one else has any questions, thank you for listening.